A crash victim nearly died until blood on the ambulance changed everything. And honoring the best of the best among medical students. These stories and more coming up. This is Path News Network Daily Edition from the College of American Pathologists. I'm Nancy Johnson. It's Friday, January 16th. Giving blood to severely injured patients before they reach the hospital can mean the difference between life and death. It saved a 71-year-old Alabama man who otherwise had no chance of surviving. Yet most ambulances in the U.S. still don't carry blood. That's why the CAP is formally recommending expanding the ability of emergency workers to provide pre-hospital blood transfusions to improve survival rates after traumatic injury. Jan Taylor got the call that her husband had been in a devastating car accident and was airlifted to the University of Alabama at Birmingham Hospital with severe injuries.
I prayed a lot, I begged a lot, and I kept saying, this can't be real. This can't be happening. But it was.
By the time Gary Taylor got to the hospital, his heart had stopped and he had massive internal bleeding. First responders had given him blood at the crash scene and during transport. That blood kept his heart beating just long enough for surgeons to take over. In a story from the University of Alabama at Birmingham, doctors say plainly that without that early blood, Gary would have died before reaching the hospital. Here's Gary after recovery.
People say, well, I don't see anybody survive that. I don't see anybody survived it either. The trauma team at UAB saved my life. In fact, they brought me back to life.
Hemorrhage is the leading cause of potentially preventable death after traumatic injury. And more than half the time, those deaths happen before patients reach the hospital. CAP President Dr. Chiwe Jim Jai says that only a small number of emergency transport programs carry blood products, even though state laws grant them the authority to do so. Drones are being tested as a new way to transport patient samples and blood products. The latest issue of CAP Today highlights a program at Northwestern Medicine Del Nor Hospital in suburban Chicago. Last year, their drones completed hundreds of deliveries without losing or damaging a single specimen. Hospital officials say the samples were secured in temperature-controlled containers, flown along carefully planned routes, and handled to prevent contamination or exposure. With safety protocols in place and federal rules expected to loosen, drones could play a growing role in moving critical medical samples, especially when time matters most. A faster, more accurate way to diagnose serious lung infections in critically ill patients. Researchers at UC San Francisco say the approach combines artificial intelligence that reviews medical records with a biomarker in lung fluid, and together it correctly identified infection 96% of the time. Used alone, each method was far less precise, and ICU doctors were more likely to prescribe antibiotics instead. The team says the tool could help clinicians make better calls sooner and cut down on unnecessary antibiotic use, with sepsis next on their list to study. And finally, do you know a medical student who is passionate about pathology? If so, nominate one outstanding medical student from your institution for the CAP's Distinguished Medical Student Award. The recommendation-based award highlights students who engage in pathology courses, electives, research, or related activities and are nominated by a pathology chair, program director, or faculty member. Each recipient receives a framed certificate and a $250 award, with schools choosing when to present the honor before the end of the academic year. Nominations are open through February 9th, as the CAP looks to build on last year's record of honoring 98 outstanding medical students nationwide. That's all for today. Be sure to check the show notes for more information on today's stories. Watch your email inbox for more news like this in the CAP's advocacy newsletter every Tuesday and our weekly edition newsletter on Thursdays. We're back Monday at 5 a.m. Eastern for another episode of the Daily Edition. I'm Nancy Johnson. Have a great day.